Do you know what's almost as good as reading books? Buying lots of books and putting them on your TBR. I'm definitely a culprit for buying too many books, so many books that I can't actually read them in the amount of time that I have. My TBR in reality is actually like 200-300 books long, and you can see the full list on my Goodreads if you really want to, but today I thought I would just show you 10 books that I want to read this year, with maybe a few honorable mentions at the end. I really wanted to broaden my horizons this year and read something from a lot of different genres. I feel like I've got a really diverse list of books that you might be able to put on your TBR and get you really excited to read this year. Here are the top 10 books that I want to read this year. I thought I would start with a book that I've actually already read. The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. Tell me if I pronounced that name right. Probably not. This is a mystery thriller psychological book about this woman who shoots her husband 5 times and then just doesn't say anything afterwards. So she's locked away in a hospital and a psychiatrist is trying to help her begin to talk again. This has been a best-selling book and I have seen it all over TikTok as well, and I definitely know why. It was amazing, and it was also cool because it was kind of like 2 separate stories, the psychiatrist story and also her story, and they run kind of parallel to each other. And then there's this massive twist at the end, which I wasn't expecting but was pleasantly surprised with. You know, usually the big twist can be very disappointing, but this wasn't. If you're looking for something to get you excited, something you just don't want to put down, The Silent Patient is definitely the one. The next book that I want to read this year is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. This is the second book in the duology Six of Crows. Again, very popular TikTok book. There's a theme here. It is an adventure, a fantasy, there's a bit of romance, but it follows on from Six of Crows, which is about a gang of misfits and they're trying to pull off a heist to get loads of money. I believe this book is all about getting revenge and also testing each other's friendships and loyalties. This is another fantasy world that is so well built and detailed that you really just feel like you've sunk into it and you are there. I also love the structure of these books because they are written each chapter from a different character's perspective, so it makes the pace really fast, and I just love being able to tap into each person's personality. It's just very exciting and I can't wait to read this. The third book that I want to read this year I don't actually have with me, but I ordered it last night, and that book is November 9. Of course, another Colleen Hoover book. I actually want to try and read all of her books this year. TikTok made me buy it. It's a romance, a drama about this girl who meets a boy just as she's leaving the town that they're both in. Every single year they meet up again on the same day, November 9, I'm guessing. He is a writer and I think he uses her as his muse to write this novel. And then I think one day the girl is unsure whether the boy has been telling her the truth this whole time. I don't usually love like fluffy stories about love because I'm a bit of a cynic, but I have a feeling I'm gonna like this one because it's Colleen Hoover and I trust her. I trust her with my life. Book number 4 is actually the one that I am currently reading right now, Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski. The surprising new science that will transform your sex life. Look, one of my goals this year was to read 1 non-fiction book per month because I want to be able to educate myself, not just through fictional stories. So I guess this is a kind of self-help, feminist, women's health book. This whole book is just about sex, relationships, and the environmental factors that could influence you not having great sex. I'm only on chapter, I think 4, and I already feel very empowered. I've done a few little exercises that are in the book and they have actually already helped me. So yeah, that is Come As You Are. My dad actually watches my videos, so speaking of naked ladies, the next book is 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I say speaking of naked women because there is a naked lady on the front of the book. This is actually a classic. If you know me, I'm not really much of a classic reader. I usually find classics very disappointing, and also sometimes they just make me feel a bit dumb. because like I'm not an English literature student, so sometimes I don't understand a lot of the hidden meanings. Some books are actually only good if you analyze them deeply, and I don't really want to do that with my free time. I just want to be entertained. This one interests me because it is based around a family and the conflict between the desire to be alone but also the need for love. And oh my god, is that me? I love being alone. I love it. I'm very independent. I like being alone, but at the same time I also really crave love. Do I crave love as validation, or do I genuinely want companionship? I don't know, but those themes in this book are kind of right up my street. I think I might actually enjoy this. The next book I want to read this year is actually another magical realism book. I have 1Q84 by Murakami. This is actually 3 books in one, so am I cheating? Probably. It is an absolute doorstop. My dad actually bought this for me when he visited me last June. So yeah, I have already been putting it off for like 6 months, but I promise myself I will read this year. The only other Murakami book I've read is Norwegian Wood, one of my favorite books ever. A woman begins realizing little things around her that don't really make sense, and then she notices that she has somehow ended up in a parallel existence. And then alongside that, there is a ghostwriter who writes a book for an author, and he gets so tied up in the author's life, I think, that his own life begins to unravel. But these two main characters, their stories intertwine. It's also set in Tokyo, and I love Tokyo so much. I definitely want to live there one day. This is me kind of living that now through a book. The next book I want to read is another non-fiction book, How the Pill Changes Everything by Dr. Sarah E. Hill. This is a book about the contraceptive pill. Personally, I've never actually been on the pill, purely because I'm actually scared of it. I'm scared of all of the side effects. Also, I trust my body and what it does. So the fact that I have a period to me means like that's healthy, that's good. I should be having it. For something to stop it, I don't know, it's always freaked me out. So that also means I know nothing about the pill, which is why I think this is going to be very interesting to me and very eye-opening. Dr. Sarah E. Hill basically reveals how the pill is transforming the world for the better, but also for the worse. She's not saying the pill is bad, don't use it. She's just trying to give you all of the information so that you can make the choice yourself. Last but not least, for the self-help books that I've seemed to acquired, The Defining Decade, Why Your 20s Matter by Meg J. This book might stress me out because I am 23 and the last 2 years of my life have flown by thanks to Corona. I'm really deep in my 20s now and I haven't really done much. So I feel like this is gonna give me a kick up the arse and really help me make plans for my future. So yeah, I don't think this will be a perfect book, but I have a feeling at least I can take away some lessons from it and implement them into my life. The next book I want to read this year is another TikTok book, yay! It is called The Love Hypothesis. It is a contemporary romance set in a science lab, I'm pretty sure. So basically this girl kisses this man who happens to be a professor, and apparently he's a bit of a dick. He agrees to kind of keep up their fake relationship. It just sounds like a fun little love story really, especially after like all of my non-fiction things. I think I'm gonna need something light. Who doesn't love a bit of a bit morally wrong power dynamic in a relationship? Teacher student, kind of hot. The last book on my list before we get into my honorable mentions is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. A lot of you are probably thinking, how have you not even read this by now? This is the first book, I think, in the Mortal Instruments series. Cassandra Clare is an author I've heard so much about. I believe the first book is about a girl who witnesses a murder, then the body and the murderers just disappear, and then her mum also disappears and she herself is attacked by a demon. So basically she has gained something called the sight. She doesn't know what it is and why she's kind of got this gift now, and also the shadow hunters are also wondering why she can like see stuff now. I don't know, she gets wrapped up in their world, and I think it's going to be a very exciting adventure story with a lot of like side romances. Plus, if I like it, there's like 100 other sequels that I can read. Onto my honorable mentions now. Like I said, I want to read a real diverse range of books this year, and that includes some graphic novels, and this one is called The Girl from the Sea. It is a book about a girl who is is saved from drowning by another girl, and then they become best friends, and I think they fall in love. So it's also a lesbian love story. I noticed in my last video that all of my queer books that I've read are usually boy, which is fine, that's great, but I also want to explore other queer relationships. So yeah, they have this little romance, but the girl who saved her from the sea also has some secrets herself. The illustrations look really sweet, and I love the colors. I think I'm going to really enjoy that book. My second honorable mention is Kim Ji-young, born 1982. This is a book surrounded around feminism and misogyny. It's based in Seoul in South Korea, which again is a place that I really want to go to. Basically, this woman Kim begins to deteriorate mentally, and so her husband sends her to a psychiatrist, and she basically relates her whole life story to him, and I think we just hear about how men have impacted her life. I think that is the basic story. I think it's going to really irritate me. I think it could be quite empowering as well. And then last but not least on my honorable mentions, here's my second Colleen Hoover book. I really want to read Verity. Verity is a thriller mystery romance, not something that I expected Colleen Hoover to write. This girl accepts this job to finish writing this book series that this man's wife can't finish because she's been injured. So this girl goes to their house. I believe she's trying to get as much information as she can about the books, and while she's doing that, she finds the secret autobiography that the woman has been writing, and in it a lot of secrets are revealed and a lot of things that she hasn't told the husband before. But at the same time, the young girl is falling in love with the husband, and so now she has this autobiography that she could use against the woman to ruin the husband and wife's relationship. I think that's what it's about anyway. I didn't want to delve too deep because I didn't want to ruin it for myself. So that was a collection of books that I really want to read in 2022. Obviously it's not all of the books I want to read because I want to read 52 this year. Let me know if you've got any good books on your TBR. Good luck for your reading this year, and I will see you next time. Bye.